Hey guys, I'm going to build a sealed deck today. If you watched my last video, I talked about the Sorcerers at the Core monthly sealed league. So I grabbed this list and I'm going to make a sealed deck out of it. So the way that I am choosing to do it this time, I have built the deck just right on here, but this time I just copied it and I put it into Curiosa right away. And then I already went through, I used this little quick edit function to just go through the cards real fast and just cut anything that's like absolutely unplayable. So I already went through once and did that, and now I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm just going to kind of go through this and see how I want to build this deck. So I've got 53 spells here. I've got 10 sites. Looks like I have the least amount of earth spells. So let's just take a glance at that. So we've got obviously the dragon here, because this is that weird sealed league where you get one set of Dragonlord, as well as I think it's 2 beta and 3 Arthurian Legends packs, something like that. So we've got 2 brown bears, a hunting party that's really strong. The Earth Dragon is really good. There's a Lancer Bear, which I think specifically in this format, Lancer Bear is great because you just have like a bunch of 7-drops that you want to play in every element. So, okay, and then for fixing, we have a Common Cottagers, we have 2 Fisherman Family, we have an Aqueduct, and a Windmill. So all of this, so 3 of these things are touching Earth, so that's nice. And then Aqueduct plus 2 Fisherman Family means that Earth water seems kind of accessible. There's not any sites that I'm like dying to play that's really going to push me into a specific element. There's a Shrine of the Dragonlord as well, so I think in this format with all of those things, I'm probably going to want to play 3 elements. But the only caveat to that is like these dragons are all triple threshold, so maybe you want to stick to 2 elements. And then there's the added benefit of if you're Earth Air, you get to play Draco Corvus, which is really good. And if you're Water Fire, you get to play this one, which is pretty solid. All right. So let's just go through each element. How about that? So Dev Knight Demon, Fine Courser, they're fine. Bats is good. Short Hunters is good. 2 Weightless Squire. Hippogriff's great. Adtonitum's amazing. Highland Clansman, I guess, but it might not even make the deck since I have so many other 7-drops. All right, and then Cast and Exile, which is kind of iffy. It's not as good as it looks. They have to be on your site, which means it does absolutely nothing if you're trying to push aggression and actually just kill your opponent. That's just going to be dead in your hand a lot of time. Arc Lightning's amazing. Kind of really sad that you didn't open any good fire removal. Like, I think there's a Vile Imp. There's a Charge Minion. Ignis Rex, I guess, is kind of removal. So yeah, it's like Stone Rain and Duel are the earth removal. Water has Grievous Insult and Ice Lance. That's pretty bad. So I don't like Cast and Exile, so yeah, you're going to be super low on removal in this deck. Let's see what else we've got of note here. I do like the Fire Minions at 2 mana. There's 2 Lumbering Giants, a Cavalry, a Caravan of Vikings. So Fire looks pretty strong to me. And then Air at least has Arc Lightning for some removal. Water, we've got a Sealy Court. Got a couple Lake of Fangs and a Poachers. At night. Yeah, this feels like a pretty difficult sealed pool. I'm going to go ahead and put this onto TTS, and we're going to look at it that way. So what I did so far, I went through each element, and I made kind of tiers of cards for each element. So at the top are cards that I'm really excited to play. This is going to pull me into that element. And then there's cards that are in the middle, like they'll definitely make my deck, but they're not going to make me want to play that element, really. I mean, some of them definitely do, but they're not like the real standout cards. And then this tier is like the cards that I will probably cut. If I don't need to play them, I won't. And then we've got all these cards over here that are fixing, and then the multicolored cards. So I don't think any of these multicolored cards are going to necessarily really pull me into the element. I think it's mostly going to depend on what we've got going on up here. So there's a lot of beef in fire. So 2 lumbering giants and then 2 5-mana 4-power things. That's pretty strong, and it has 3 good 2-drops. So that's pretty strong. I think it's pretty likely that I'm going to want to play fire. Earth is looking pretty strong too. It's got 2 brown bears, and this guy, and then hunting party. This is all pretty expensive stuff. Land Surveyor is going to be really nice in this kind of deck. Air, like I think Automaton is probably just the best dragon for limited, I would guess. I guess maybe not. Like, maybe there's an argument for like Ignis Rex being the best one, since you can play it and discard a card to kill something, or hopefully multiple things. So let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it's like, okay, we've got 10. Definitely 11. Like, this is in our deck no matter what. And then I would like to play this. Let's see, do we have any pawns? We don't have any pawns. That's something that I found in the sealed deck that I built for this event. I'm actually looking at someone else's sealed deck right now. Or sealed pool, I should say. And the funny thing with this is that this is actually a beast as well as a dragon. So if you have pawns, you can just splash water and still play this, which is what I did in my sealed pool. Yeah, the rest of water isn't looking the best. Yeah. I think I'm gonna basically take water out of the running. Like, nothing here is that exciting to me. So that means I don't think we're playing this either. I'm not really sure. I think earth and air look pretty close. I think earth is looking a bit better. And then I'll probably check and see if there's a way for us to splash something else. We got a couple of Fisherman Family, which I don't think are going to make the deck. Really anything that's single threshold that I want. Too bad. This is 22. And then this is water. This is single air. This is double air. Let's look at this other fixing we have. Okay. Yeah, so if we did play air, we could play Treetop Hideout and Observatory. Those are pretty strong. We're definitely playing these villages and this Hunter's Lodge. And then, yeah, I feel like air is looking like the best splash for sure. Not really sold on water, although we do have these families. But I don't know that you really want to be playing double element in the splash color in this format. Maybe you do. Oh, kind of cool that we have most of the sites we can just play in Earthfire. Okay, yeah, I think you should just splash water, probably. So let's put these Fisherman Family in, probably instead of these Scouts. And Kingswood Poachers is the best card to splash. Verdant Knight is quite good. And then if we need to, we could maybe splash for this Ice Lance, but let's just count. Let's just put these all into a group and then see what we got. Okay, this is 24. Yeah, so we have 2 Fisherman Family, an Aqueduct. Yep. And then we actually don't have any other water sites to play, so it'll just be a stream. And then we have a Kingswood Poachers and a Verdant Knight we are splashing for. And then we have Shrine as another way of fixing. I guess you could maybe just play one water site. That's possible. Yeah, we have 3 water sources in our deck. And then only 2 cards that we're splashing for. That might actually be legit. especially since we have triple fire, triple earth in our deck. So yeah, I think I would go with this. All right, so this is what I landed on for this deck. Not the prettiest curve, I'll admit. You're gonna really want Shrine of the Dragonlord on turn 2 so you can play a 4-drop on turn 3, but this is what I've got, and unfortunately, like, the removal's really terrible, but there's a lot of really high quality minions. Like, usually in draft you will not end up with these many 4-drops, and 4-drops are very good, just 4-power minions. So, like, yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minions that are 4 or 5 mana that have 4 power. That's quite good. And then the 2-drops are pretty stacked. Like, this is really nice, which makes Verdant Knight good if you can play this early off of a Shrine or off of a Fisherman Family or the one Aqueduct. I do feel okay about the Water Splash. Like, there's 2 water cards. Verdant Knight doesn't need to be played on turn 3 to be good, and Kingswood Poachers, you know, you would like to play it on turn 4, but it's not going to be that impossible to do. Like, you can do any of these 3 things on turn 2 to get your water threshold. It doesn't feel great, but the fact that we have this one Aqueduct does really help a lot, because now we have 6 earth sites, we have 6 fire sites, which helps a lot for these triple fire, triple earth things. So not really messing with your threshold that much in this deck, and I think that's pretty nice. This is a lot more difficult of a deck build than I was really expecting. I didn't really look at the whole pool before I started doing this, but I think I pulled together a pretty good looking deck. As long as your opponent doesn't completely curve out on you, I think that this looks pretty solid to me. You do have some early stuff to do, at least, and if you get into the late game, you're just going to take over the game, which, now that I'm saying that, I think I'm going to cut this Cursed Land. I really don't like this card in general, and I think it's only really good in aggressive decks. Like, if you play it on turn 2, your opponent might be playing 2 sites next to it, but honestly, they'll probably only play 1 site next to it, and when it's on your side of the board, you're more likely to have to play next to this card. So this is just going to end up doing more damage to you than your opponent, which might be fine in some really aggressive decks that don't really care about your own life total that much. But in this deck, like, you're going to take over with all these 4-power minions. So I'm going to cut this Cursed Land and just put in another Wasteland. I think it's possible that I could just make the case for just playing Spellslinger instead of Dragonlord. Because then it doesn't feel so bad to be drawing sites to get to your expensive stuff. But honestly, if it was me, I'm just going to play Dragonlord with Ignis Rex. Ignis Rex is actually really stacked as a Dragonlord companion. You got a bunch of fire cards to discard, and it can just get 2-for-1s. And yeah, I think Dragonlord is pretty fun, it's pretty solid, and this is a unique sealed league, so when do you ever get to play Dragonlord in sealed? Basically never. So I would try that out. I don't know if it's like legit the best thing to do. Sorry, my head was in the way, but yeah, I just have the Earth Dragon and the Fire Dragon here. I guess I would actually make one final edit. I think I would cut this Kingswood Poachers and just play Ice Lance instead. There's just a lot of 4-drops here, and they're really low on removal. There's no spellcasters or anything, but Dragonlord has more mobility than your average avatar, so I think Ice Lance is going to be just fine in this deck, and is kind of necessary to actually get the death blow. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this impromptu sealed deck build. Definitely check out my other video if you want to play in the monthly sealed league. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.